I want to buy a car. Give me the key argument why it's a BYD and not a Tesla.
Longevity of the battery. Other batteries, you will have to leave it to 20%. They'll say don't charge above 80, as you can just top up at all times. And the safety aspect. So it's a huge selling point for BYD. If you puncture the battery with a nail, run over it with a 40-ton truck, there's no flames, no smoke, only rose to 60 degrees Celsius. Whereas you see every other EV, as soon as they puncture it with a nail, 600 degrees instantly, up in flames.
You're saying it BYD with your blade technology,
yeah,
very safe battery.
It is the safest battery on the market.
But quite frankly, I'm a little bit worried that the Chinese government, maybe we have a conflict, is able to turn my car off remotely and I can't go anywhere. Have you guys got the power over my car? Hi guys, welcome to the YEA podcast. We're moving all into direction of EVs today. And we have with us James Wayland from BYD Haberfield. So James is selling electric vehicles all day. He's a brand new car salesman. Yeah. You didn't start as a used car salesman, did you?
No, I've been doing this since September 7th last year, so just under a year now.
Brad, then you basically came as a virgin straight into the car
exactly right.
game. Okay.
Fresh.
So you know all things EV. We're going to put really tough questions to you.
Awesome.
Okay, good. Because seriously, I mean, a lot of people are now looking at buying a new car and the question is, do I still go with a petrol car or is the petrol car generation finished and I'm moving into EVs? And I'm sure you get all these questions all the time. So typically when I walk into an EV dealership, what are the kind of questions that customers ask?
The main questions walking into BYD is, what's the lifespan of the battery? Do you speak Mandarin? And what's the best discount you can get me on the car?
Right. So look, the battery is an interesting one because that's straight away when we move into EVs.
I probably shouldn't have said that. Sorry. I just thought.
Do you speak Mandarin?
你好吗？我可以帮你吗？我是 James. 喝咖啡喝着茶吗? Hello, how are you? My name is James. Do you want a tea or coffee? And then they reply and say like,
so that is for people who actually do come from China who want to have a BYD.
And just, people that live here and just, they prefer to, talk and negotiate with some of our Chinese workers as well.
All right. Yeah. So, well, that's a fair question.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ich kann auch mit dir Deutsch sprechen und dann bist du wahrscheinlich ganz verloren.
Oh, what was that?
I'll repeat to you after the show. And then you can give me your phone number. All right. On that note, Jesus Christ, we're losing it already in the first minute. Terrible. So no, seriously, when it comes to the battery, I think about it and I'm thinking it was all kind of going towards EVs and positive. And now suddenly there's this huge wave coming back and it must be that people linked with the petrol industry thinking, putting big bright brains together to try and find holes to plug into this industry. And the battery is an issue. So what's the story? What's the range of BYD cars?
So with the range of, say, 60 kilowatt battery on the Atto 3, which is the first vehicle to come out for BYD, that's 480 kilometres in the extended range. And then the most range we do have currently in Australia is 650 kilometres with the Seal Premium.
Right.
And that's an 80 kilowatt battery.
But let's say, for example, I now come onto a really windy day and I have 4 people in the car and I go a lot of uphills and a bit downhills. Does that 480 or 600 and all that, is that the ideal number or is that really?
That's your best case scenario. So that's if you're driving in traffic, you're using the regenerative braking quite often. If you've got a full car, you're doing a long distance drive, you're not using the brakes as much, that 480 is probably going to be around about that 400 mark.
Right.
And then so on.
And how much out of the 60 kilowatt hour battery do you suck out then? You possibly can't really get the whole 60 kilowatt hours out, can you?
Yeah, no, probably when I get to around about 10%, that's usually when I start to stress when I'm driving my car.
Right. Yeah. So basically, can you set it at a certain level and you say, I don't want the battery, so you need to go below that and I have a reserve? Is that possible?
No. So just once it does get to 10%, you do get a warning. Then at 20%, you get a warning, 10% you get a warning, and then at 5%, it does go into turtle mode where it can only produce a certain amount of kilowatts.
Right. So meaning you're not going to go 150 anymore then, is it?
No.
You just travel along.
Correct.
So basically, and if you say 10%, that means by then I've got 40 Ks.
Correct.
Okay. So really you want to kind of to be on the safe side, you really want to leave it with about the 20%, is it?
Absolutely.
That's the golden rule.
Yep.
So you travel 320 Ks, mate, time to
get a bit of top up.
Okay. What about the range of the 600K type situation? Do you believe we're going to get batteries where suddenly it'll be 800 or 1,000 and then the whole game is actually over? It's not an issue anymore?
Absolutely. I think probably in the next, in China overseas, they already have like the Sea Line 7, which will soon come out to Australia. They've been saying 3 months for about the past 3 months now. So that one is around about 700, 800 kilometres. And then as the battery technology gets better and better, they're talking about ones that can get up to 2,000 kilometres.
Wow. I mean, by then we actually can kind of go on a holiday with all the time we would have taken to tow for petrol. So it's actually kind of then go the other way around.
Correct.
Okay. But look, let's not move into the 2,000 straight away. Yeah. But I've seen it in solar. The panels started at 175 watt. They're now at 450, even 470. So I do believe that, you know, the batteries will increase, but there's also an ROI, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't want to put a 2,000 kilometer battery in it when 1,000 is actually enough, because that's where a lot of the cost of the car is, isn't it?
Exactly.
So what do you think is kind of like a range where suddenly that issue of range anxiety will just disappear?
I think it's already happened with the Seal Premium. You do see a lot of people that come in, they go, what's your most range? Tell them the Seal Premium, 650 kilometres, but real world driving is probably more around 590, 600. And then that changes a lot of people's perceptions as soon as they walk in the door and you tell them that.
So if instead of a 4, when you got a 6 in front, that makes a big diff.
Yeah.
So is that then one of your more prominent selling cars?
Definitely. It's definitely. You have the Seal Dynamic Premium Performance. Obviously, you know, the rev heads and the people that want to go fast will go for the performance model, but then the people just getting from A to B usually go for the premium.
Right. Now, when the batteries reach the capability of going 1,000K, that means if I have an older model with 600K, that smacks my resale value a bit, doesn't it?
And that's the same with all vehicles. Like, you know, when the Toyota RAV4 came out, then a new model comes out, that model automatically is going to be dropped in price. And that's just the automotive industry, really.
Right. So why do you think is there that pushback against EVs by the right-wing media and all that right now?
Because they'll be losing money.
But they don't have shares in car companies.
Yeah, but not so much car companies, but, you know, metro, petroleum companies. You definitely see that there is, you know, an agenda being pushed there to sort of stay away from EVs. And then you do have a lot of people having range anxiety, and then they think, but it's also a case of what came first, the chicken or the egg.
But isn't the range anxiety more from a perception rather than real? Because if I walk in and never had an EV, I can't really have range anxiety because I don't have experienced it. So it's really what I'm reading rather than what I'm experienced. Because
you're always going to hear the worst case scenario.
But the irony is that Australia is one of the most metropolitan-focused countries in the world. Most of us live in the cities and most of us travel 40 to 50 Ks to work. So 600 Ks actually will get me to work and back a couple of times.
It's pretty good.
And then at night I just plug it into the PowerPoint.
Exactly.
So how do you overcome that in the sales angle when somebody is critical like me and says, hang on, mate, what do you say?
I just say, how many kilometres are you doing a day? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to touch that. I said, how many kilometres are you doing a day? If you're doing less than 125 kilometres a day, the charger that we provide you with, which just plugs into your 240 volt at home, that'll give you 125 to 150 kilometres overnight. And then that's where the good thing with BYD's blade battery technology is it is a top-up system, so you can charge it at any point and it won't have major effect to the battery life.
Meaning I can charge it if it's 40, 50, 80% full.
Correct.
I don't have to kind of discharge it right down to the bottom. It can kind of just top up any time.
Absolutely. And that's with the slowest method of charging.
Right.
So the trickle charger, you can charge at any point. Obviously, when you have your DC charging, high input of power, that's where you sort of want to keep it around about the 20% mark all the way up to 100.
Right. So the rule, what you're telling me is if you do trickle charge, I can kind of get into that sucker any time of the day. But if I want to do the DC charging and really whack it hard to do it quickly, it is better to do it when the battery is down to about what?
20%.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So these are the kind of golden rules that people should learn when they drive an EV?
Absolutely.
Right. Like.
And if you buy a BYD, keep it in eco mode for the first 2,000 kilometres.
Right. What's the reason for that?
It's just on the user manual. And, you know, a lot of the people in sales or people getting the vehicle don't read that, but that's a really important. It's essentially like braking in a petrol car.
Right.
So it's really important to keep it in eco mode for the first 2,000 kilometres, just for the longevity of the battery life.
Right. Now, I'm going to be sorry to be like a critical kind of guy, but my German background just oozes out. I now bought that car. I love it. I'm not replacing it every 3 years. I have it now 7 or 8 and 9. And now my battery that was 600 Ks, I'm only getting 450 out of it. At one stage, I want to replace the battery. What's the policy on that?
A lot of people that come in with Tesla saying, their vehicles was doing this, now it's doing that. Can you sort of guarantee that this will be the case with BYD? Now, in other EV vehicles, you can understand that. Whereas BYD, they've had, our boss got to go to the factory in Shenzhen, and there was a bus there that had done 2.5 million kilometres, and the battery only degraded 11%.
Right. So you're saying that the battery has a longer life than 10 years?
Absolutely. So it has, what BYD does say is 3,000 to 5,000 charge cycles. Then with a 60 kilowatt battery, that's going to be around about 1.2 million kilometres.
Really? But what about if I only charge it the last 200 Ks? Is that then counted as a charge cycle? Or is that
charge cycle being from 10% to 100.
Right. So if I top it up every time from 50%, is that the right way to do to make the battery last longer, or is that actually I should really more empty it out all the way?
If you're doing high voltage charging, empty it out all the way. If you're just trickle charging, just topping it up every now and then, it won't have much effect.
And the theory that DC charging can kind of fry it a bit more than the trickle charging, is there a more ideal way to charge a battery in a BYD?
Yeah, probably the best way, but it's the most time consuming, is trickle charging.
Right. But if you're overnight sleeping, then that's not a problem, is it?
Exactly.
Right. So your advice would be do the DC charging when you do long trips, because that's the quickest option. Yep. But if you're at home, use the trickle charging. Is there a method in between the trickle and the DC, like the fast charging and the just a little bit out of your power point?
So the 7 kilowatt chargers, BYD was doing a little special for them just recently. We were giving all people that place a deposit a free charger with the vehicle. Now, we recommend the brand Ocular, and the people that install that at EVSE Australia. And that's a 7 kilowatt charger. So for your Atto, it's going to take around about 7 to 9 hours. And then when you move up to your 80 kilowatt battery, it's probably about 11, 12 hours.
Right. And they're kind of from a battery life point of view, that's a good idea to do that one too?
Because it's still AC charging as well.
Right, right. Okay. So really, in summary, you can trickle charge it, get 125 Ks overnight.
Correct.
You can do a 7 kilowatt hour charger, which gives you literally overnight the full charge from empty.
Yep.
Or you can do the DC charging, which is banging it out hard. How long? 1 hour, 2 hours, 3?
If it's all depending on the charger and how much intake your vehicle can take. So, for example, if you got 150 kilowatt with your BYD Seal Premium, it'll give it a full charge in around about 35 minutes. And then if you've got an Atto, which can only take 80 kilowatts per hour, that's going to take you around about, probably about an hour and a half sometimes.
Right. Okay. Good. So we got that settled with the charging type thing. What are the other big pushback on an EV?
Yeah, as we spoke, it's more so it's what people don't know. So people know, all right, I get my petrol car, I'll be good to get 10 years out of that, and people seem to be happy with that. But then they see the worst case scenarios with other EV companies of, oh, my battery's going to catch on fire. I'm going to run out of charge on the middle of the road. It's going to shut down on me. It's more so just the transition that people need to make. They're sort of just on the verge of, do I go full EV? Do I just keep it petrol? And that's where I think the BYD Seal line comes in very well, the hybrid.
So you're saying basically the unknown is the scary thing, because
exactly.
3 weeks ago in my street, an older car just burst out at 2:00 in the morning into flames.
You didn't hear that on the news, did
No,
you?
I don't think there was a news. Do you think if it would have been EV, would have been a news story?
It would have been on every paper.
Is that how it is now at the moment, is it?
You definitely see a media pushback for it, absolutely.
I just don't get it, because if you put a solar system on top of it, of charging it, then you're actually driving for free. So why wouldn't people see that benefit?
Exactly.
I don't get it. Yeah.
I don't get it either. It's people come and they go, what's the best you can do for me? Why should I get an EV? It's like, well, do you want to save money? Do you want to drive for free, or do you want to pay $120 every time you fill up your car once a week?
I would argue that when it comes to petrol prices, let's say we get a conflict in the Middle East or so, and petrol prices move to $4 a litre.
Like in England.
We will have no debate about EVs anymore.
Exactly.
And that will happen. We will see petrol prices increase one day because all it is the Middle East is a powder keg. Russia is a powder keg. Both of them are some of the biggest producers of petrol. And if you've got 10 or 20% less capacity coming into the market, it straight away increases the prices as a whole. So I could actually see a point where suddenly you guys are sold out because everybody done a run on EVs when the petrol is so high. How do you kind of compare the running costs?
The running costs, so if you get a full EV, it's a fixed rate of $189 per year for a service. Once a year every
How much?
$189.
For a service?
Yep.
Per year?
Yep. Or every year or 20,000 kilometres.
That's much lower than a petrol, isn't it?
Much lower. So
is that artificially made low to sound sexy, or is that the real cost?
No, that's the real cost. So then the second year, $189. Third year is around about $215, and then $189, and then it's like $240.
And that's like if I go to BYD and they do it for me, is it?
Yep.
The only other thing is obviously tyres, isn't it?
Correct.
So because the batteries are heavy, do I go through tyres faster?
Pretty much the same. Every 20,000, if it's a front-wheel drive, they'll rotate your tyres for you. But sort of standard, you get around about 3 to 4 years out of the tyres.
Right. And do you guys, as BYD Haberfield, if I have bought a car there, can I then drop it off with you and you do the service?
Absolutely.
Right. So my local petrol mechanic, does he do the services too for EVs, or do they not? Do go? I don't know about it.
No, a lot of local mechanics won't touch it just because you do have to have the right technology for it. With that, they do have My Car Service Centre, which used to be the old Kmart service centres. And if you're just getting a 20,000 checkup, you don't need anything done, go to them. But if you do have technical issues, bring it to Blacktown, Sutherland, or BYD Haberfield.
Right. Okay. And what type of technical issues could I have?
If getting any sort of like
my light doesn't work?
Yeah, your lights don't work, or you've got a red amber light coming up. Anything to do with the actual the hardware of the car, bring it to a BYD certified centre, where it's more so just you need to get the update to get the flashing light off your dashboard, then take it to My Car.
Right. Okay, so they have gotten the qualifications to do that, is it?
Depending where you go. But then with My Car, we have just noticed if there are any sort of technical issues, so hardware issues, they'll just send it to us.
Right. Okay, so that's still like an emerging kind of infrastructure that's building out.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, BYD and Tesla, they're kind of fighting a little bit for the top numbers.
Yeah.
Why would I buy a BYD, not a Tesla? I mean, I love Elon Musk. He says so many wise things. God, that man, he's got wisdom coming out of his ears. And I haven't heard anybody like that for BYD, So why would I not be in...
And that's probably one of the main questions that people ask as well. Why should I get this instead of a Tesla? And I just say it's mainly the battery technology. So the longevity that you'll get out of the battery. And it's a little bit more of a drivable car instead of, I explained, BYD's a drive car, whereas Tesla's more of like a computer on wheels, controlling everything from the tablet. But then it all depends on what you like.
So you still got little buttons, have you?
Yeah, little buttons everywhere.
So basically, if I'm come from a petrol car, I'm not
It's a much easier transition.
Right. Yeah. So if I'm a boomer, where I grew up when cars still had silver bumper bars, I will feel a little bit more home in a BYD than in a Tesla, where I completely have to now be control to Major Tom.
Control, Alt, Delete, put into reverse.
Right. It wasn't me, it was the computer. I'm writing that in my insurance claim. I tried to tell it to go left, but it didn't listen. Is that the one?
That's the one.
And you guys possibly going to ask me the question in Chinese. So how was that going again?
What was the question?
The question was, how do you welcome your Chinese visitors?
你好吗？我是 James， 我可以帮你吗？喝咖啡或者茶吗？
And then I say yes in Chinese to my car.
Yeah.
What's that in Chinese?
I'm not sure what yes
Mate,
is.
come on, yes.
I know, yes, I'm not too sure, but I know shishi, thank you. That's what I usually say when
I
I'm
think you
driving out
need
the door.
to learn very quickly what is yes in Chinese, because that's, I think, the key word for negotiation when they ask you to give them a cheaper price.
That one I just say hard no.
So what's no? Or you just keep that in English,
I
is
just
it?
keep that in English.
And your body language just communicates it clearly.
Just like that.
No, already very cheap. All right,
They
good.
always want better.
Now, you guys have dropped your prices a bit.
Yes.
Some people would have called dropping the pants in the EV industry. And not just you, like everywhere around the place. What does that mean? Does it mean they were really greedy at the first place and made a lot of margin, or they just had to do it to be competitive?
I think, mainly to be competitive. And, a lot of people that are buying, 5, 10 years ago, everyone that had a Tesla Model X or a Model S, you do see, they're doing, very well for themselves, more of a luxury looking car. Now, I think the EV companies are sort of understanding, okay, we need this for the, general public. So that's why they're making these cars more affordable for people as well.
Right. But I mean, it makes it a bit more difficult for the people who bought them first and now seen a big drop, and suddenly they have to, their second-hand vehicle market, it hasn't really given EV a good name for retaining the value.
Yes and no, because you do see any sort of petrol car that comes out with a newer model, automatically that previous model price will drop drastically. So the Atto 3 in the 2022 model, they were selling for around about 40 to 45,000 on car sales. Now that the 24 models come out, you see those ones that were now 35, 40 have dropped between like 32 to 36,000.
Well, that is actually true, because I have a Mercedes E-Class, which was new 140,000. I picked it up for 24. So there is a bit of a drop in value with cars in general. But would you say that it's pretty well reached that right plateau now on the price point for EVs? And are people still expecting it to drop even further? Because for the quality of cars it is, with the battery it is in there, I cannot see how it goes any lower.
Yeah, I don't see it either. A lot of customers are coming in saying, I know your prices are dropping. I know your prices are dropping. We don't even know the price of the vehicle until they come out. We find out when the general public finds out. So I can neither confirm nor deny if they're going to increase or drop.
No, it makes no sense to drop further, because they've got 60 kilowatt hour battery in it, okay? Now, a Tesla battery alone, let's say a 13 kilowatt hour one, they're around 10 grand. So you're looking at about close to $1,000 for a home storage battery to have the storage of 1 kilowatt hour. So if you guys have 60 kilowatt hours of battery in that car, there's already $60,000 worth of value of a battery sitting in there if you take home storage batteries as the value.
Yeah.
So if that car is then 45 to 50 with all the other bits, because there's a few bits around the battery actually, that do put a bit more in it than just the battery with a wheel, it's a bloody bargain.
Absolutely.
I can't see it how to get any lower.
And it's bi-directional power as well. So if you have camping or an electric stove, put in your discharge, then you can power an electric stove. If you want to keep your fridge cold in blackout, you've got that capability as well.
So you're saying that if I have a blackout in my house, I could wheel my fridge out onto the street and plug it into my car.
Exactly.
So that the fruit doesn't spoil.
Exactly.
But why wouldn't you use an extension lead?
If you've got one.
Yeah, you run the extension. So this is the advice to viewers.
Yeah.
If you have a blackout and you have a BYD and you don't want your food to spoil, get an extension lead from the fridge all the way to your car and you'll be fine.
Exactly.
Or you could even have the one or two lights running, is it?
Yeah.
Put the light on and the TV and you're still fine.
Exactly.
Oh, that's nice. Good idea.
Good for the campers as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you go camping, so basically if you go camping with the BYD, you're going to have a little PowerPoint with you all the time, is it?
Exactly.
Oh, how sexy is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, let's say I'm a really critical customer to buy an EV vehicle, okay? So let's play the game. I'm walking in. I'm that kind of customer you actually don't want. and I'm going to give you a hard time. So, James, I'm interested in BYD, but quite frankly, I'm a little bit worried that the Chinese government is, when maybe we have a conflict, is able to turn my car off remotely and I can't go anywhere. Have you guys got the power over my car, like with the software and all that?
Absolutely not. For the car to be turned on, either you have to turn it on with your remote or your remote key has to be inside the vehicle. They can't just turn on by themselves.
I know, but I'm talking about turning it off.
Turning it off?
Yeah, can you remotely turn my car off with software?
With your paired remote key, you can, not with any other software.
Right.
So for all BYD buyers, if you do need a key replacement, you have to replace all three because they can't have multi-keys linked to the vehicle.
For safety and security?
Correct.
Okay. Now, what is the weakness of an electric vehicle? I mean, I always, my dad, when he went shopping, he always asked, what's the weakness of this product? And depending on the bullshit that came out of the sales guy, he made a decision if it was going ahead or not. So just generally, seriously, if you tell me honest, is there a weakness in EVs at the moment still?
The main weakness is going to be, those trips to Brisbane, trips to Melbourne. Obviously, the hassle of range anxiety, and with the way these cars are designed, the more you depress the brake, the more power you're going to get back to your battery, so the more range that you'll get. So it's more so just calculating the only real hassle that you will get is calculating your trips if you are doing the long distance drives. That's really, and then with the 2024 or 2022 to 2023 Addos, they had Batman Atlas tyres. The tyres weren't the best of quality. A lot of tyre shops didn't have them as well. Now they've changed it over to just Continentals for the 2024 model.
But also, I mean, if the infrastructure and charging infrastructure improves, then that issue is really gone.
Exactly. 5 years ago, that was a huge concern for people. Now you see BP Pulse, Ampol's bringing out another 500 charging stations throughout Australia by the end of 2026. BP Pulse is following suit. And then you see EV Network, Charge, Fox, Jolt, all places popping up everywhere.
Right. Now, in terms of the seats and stuff like that in there, I always like my little leather seats. What's the stuff? Are you kind of more of like a plastic car, or are the finishes really nice?
The finishes are lovely. All vehicles are sort of different. The Addo's a little bit quirky. The Seal's a little bit more of that sort of European style car, and then the Dolphin's the sort of in between both. It's got that slick look, but also a little bit quirky with the dolphin fins as the handles. Now, with the Seal Premium and Performance, it has genuine leather. Then all other models do use synthetic leather.
Right. So no animal has to die for the car. No. All right. I shouldn't like leather then. Sorry. You don't really think about that till you really think about that.
Exactly.
Interesting. Now, but I'm still that critical customer. I want to buy a car. Give me the key argument why it's a BYD or not a Tesla. You told me before the battery.
The battery.
So you say the battery technology is quite good?
Yeah.
What's good about it?
Longevity of the battery, charging at any time, whereas other batteries you will have to leave it to 20% and they'll say don't charge above 80, as you can just top up at all times. And more so the safety aspect. So all other EVs, and you can find this all online, it's a huge selling point for BYD. If you puncture the battery with a nail, if you crush it, run over it with a 40-ton truck, there's no flames, no smoke, only rose to 60 degrees Celsius, whereas you see every other EV, as soon as they puncture it with a nail, 600 degrees instantly, up in flames, and those things will burn for about 2 weeks straight.
Let's not kind of go down that path, but you're saying it BYD with your blade technology, very safe battery.
It is the safest battery on the market.
Okay, good. Tick. Now, you're saying that the warranty for the battery, how long?
So 8 years on the battery or 160,000 kilometres.
Right. Okay. So 160. All right. That's probably what most people drive maybe more in 10 or 12 years.
Yeah.
What happens then? Does 8 years and 1 day the battery just goes zip, or is the degradation coming through a bit, or what happens at year 9, 10, 11, 12? How long do you actually think those batteries lasting as the manufacturer's testing has shown?
So obviously in Australia we don't know because BYD's only been in Australia for around about 3 years now. But what we have seen from China, whereas I spoke before, there was a bus that had done 2.5 million kilometres, the battery degraded 11%. So just going off that, and then you see taxi drivers that use BYD as well. Just seeing from what we're seeing with China, it will last a lot longer than that 8 years.
Okay. Now, would you say that at that point in time, let's make it 12 years, and I'm saying, the range isn't that good anymore, what I need, I still like the car. Do you believe then there's going to be a replacement battery model available, or what's the plan? Or do we just say cars from now on 12 years, that's about it?
It's tough to say. Coming from a sales point of view, obviously you'd like to think that people have the reliability of the company which they've bought a car from to say, hey, look, if you need a battery replacement, we can do it at this agreed price if you've had a certain amount of degradation. But it is tough to say.
I have this theory about batteries, which is this, that let's say you guys give an 8-year warranty and the battery truly maybe makes it to 10 or 12 because I look after it, etc., do trickle charging. And at that point in time, I still love my car very dearly and I want to have a replacement. A brand new battery, which now is about 8 to 10, is possibly not worth it to stick into that car. But I'm pretty sure by then there'll be actually second-hand batteries available through either crashes or other things or refurbished models, which might be more in the $4,000 to $5,000, $6,000 range. Can you see that happen?
Can definitely see that happening, especially eventually a second-hand EV car market. A lot of people are skeptical, and with other brands I can understand that. Whereas what we've seen in the history of BYD, whereas in China, not so much in Australia, but in China, they are holding their range quite well with very little degradation.
You're talking about the batteries themselves,
correct.
Right? Okay. But I mean, just like I can get aftermarket printer cartridges and I can get aftermarket parts even for my VW and my Merc and all that. They're not the original parts, but somebody thought, well, there are enough of these needed. I'll make them, I refurbish them, etc., alternators, all sorts of things for cars. I can't see why that wouldn't apply to batteries. And if a 12-year-old car, I put a battery in, a refurbished, I pay $6,000 for it, it now gives me, let's say, another 6 years of driving, by which time the car is 18 and I possibly say that's it. Then I paid $1,000 a year to have this car still on the road on a depreciation of about 2.5 per normal petrol car at the moment. That extra $1,000 investment per year is not a bad thing. So I actually think this whole battery anxiety stuff is really dreamed up by people who want to be a bit nasty to EVs.
Yeah, you do see people that come in with that viewpoint. They sort of make it known very quickly. And you can argue with them as much as you want, but they've got their perceptions. And
so what, you get people coming in your shop who are actually anti-EV trying to buy an EV? How does that work?
You don't get many sales from them. But yeah, a lot of people do come in, they have the preconceived ideas. They've had a petrol car their whole life. They've maybe hopped in an EV. They've seen the worst case scenarios on social media, and they just come in, they sort of just want to have their 2 cents. And then we have many people call up to BYD Haberfield just saying, what are you guys number one in the world in? Number one for EVs sold. Oh, your cars this, that, and the other. Say, mate, why don't you come down for a drive, see how the car feels? And they never rock up.
Right. But what about the ones that do rock up and are kind of in that, I'm thinking about EV, I'm not sure about it, and they meet you and then they meet the car. What's the normal reaction?
A lot of people love it. Rarely ever do you get people that come out of it and go, oh, I don't like it. More so people that have owned BYDs before, if they're like a massive Tesla head, they'll sort of, stick to their guns and, stick with what they know. Rarely ever do we ever have people coming out saying, oh, that was a crap drive, didn't like it, no thanks. It's always they hop out the car, they go, I really loved it, I just need some time to think.
Right.
Yeah.
You used to be a professional rugby union player, or?
Yeah, for a little bit there.
Union or league?
Union.
Oh, yeah. Not even. In Australia, you've got to say league.
I know. I played league growing up.
It
was a Sharks junior, and then got to around about 16, and my rugby coach said, look, you're not going to get any taller. You're going to get a lot wider. Let's move you from back row to front row. And then finished school, had injuries all through the way. It's probably why I didn't succeed as well as I did. And then played a couple of years in the UK professionally, and then came back, was doing disability work, and my friend said to me, "Hey, look, I think
Hang on. Why did you stop the rugby union?
my C1 and C2 are now bone on bone, so I get a lot of nerve issues down the left side of my neck, or the right side of my neck, going down my left arm, and then just my elbow, and it's just."
So you had a major injury, did you?
Yeah, scrum collapsed, and had a 140 kilo player land on my neck with my elbow up like that, and just had like a shock feeling through my nerve, and then later got some scans, and
you're lucky nothing worse happened,
exactly,
really.
Yeah.
So you were a professional rugby union player. You then had a major injury. You then went, you said, into disability work?
Correct.
And from that you thought selling EVs is easier, is it?
Well, I was doing that, and I found a true calling in life, and then certain things came up, and my friend Ned, who actually works at BYD Seal here at Haberfield, he just said, "Look, I think you'd be really good at it." And I was like, "Why would I want to sell cars?" Sort of had that preconceived idea of car salesman, which everyone coming into the dealership still does.
Yeah, they did kind of got big slick back hair and stuff like that,
And I was just like, "Why would I want to do that?" I don't want to. Sort of just the preconceived notions. And he said, "Look, you pretty much just make people fall in love with the car. There's no negotiating on price, so you're not ripping anyone off. And, if you do well, you get paid well." So, and I've been doing that for a year now.
So how you been going? Are you selling a few cars?
Yeah, doing quite well.
Well, tell me what you've achieved. Come on, don't be shy. He doesn't want to give. Well, no, we just want facts.
So last month sold 28 cars, and then trying to get all those 28 out by the end of this month. And yeah, BYD Haberfield's very fresh, so we're still getting little amounts of traction, not as much as we'd like, but it is eventually getting there. And then at Sutherland, I think in the 6 or 7 months there, I sold just over 200 cars.
Right. So you basically were Sutherland, and now you're Haberfield.
Correct.
And it is relatively, I've seen it when you drive out of the tunnel at the M4. It's all shiny, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lovely showroom.
Yeah. But the cars themselves, do they change the models like every 12 months and you can't even catch up of what's there on the stock and all that? Does it happen very turnover-ish? Or?
It all really depends. So for the Atto, it was the exact same from the 2021 to the 2023. And now they've upgraded a little bit, just with better tyres, bigger screen. Everything else is pretty much the same.
Right.
And then
what about the Seal?
Seal, there's been no variations in Australia what's to date. There is talks of a 2025 model coming out. And that's really, we're always the last, even as salesmen at BYD, we're the last ones to hear everything.
You shouldn't say that. You're supposed to say, we're very informed, but we got to share it with the public in line with the overall directive by the company and all that. But there is a 2025 Seal coming.
Yeah.
What's I hear lots of good things about it. What's on the horizon?
They're talking about from what I've read online, nothing from BYD. They're upgrading the battery technology, more protective layers, and then there's just a few different features in the interior.
The range?
Range, I'm not too sure about. We're, as I said before, we're sort of late to the party on that side of things. Obviously not what you want to hear for the viewers, but we have been told that there will be a high range Seal.
When it comes to the buyers, is there kind of like with solar, for example, a lot of solar system purchases are all over 40, 50, a lot of pensioners because they want to now get rid of their electricity bill. So there's a really target customer group that you kind of identify quite quickly. Does it apply to EV buyers too?
Definitely applies to the model. So with the Dolphins, Haberfield's selling quite a few Dolphins at the moment, inner city driving, inner city parking. Then you see people that, the average family that wants to save a little bit of money, they'll either go with the Atto or hybrid. Hybrid more so for the people that, aren't ready to go full EV. And then you see the Seals are sort of for the, older gentlemen, the businessmen who sort of want to have that slick looking car without paying those, premium prices.
Right. Now, you do sell full EVs at BYD Haberfield, and then you also sell hybrids. And I hear that hybrids are suddenly getting a little bit up in the popularity. What's the difference between a normal EV and a hybrid EV? And why would people choose one or the other?
Now, if it's choosing one or the other, if it's just inner city driving, getting to and from work, maybe a little family trip on the weekend, I'd recommend the EVs. If you are doing the long distance drives, long commutes to work, and you frequently go, in rural Australia, I'd recommend the hybrid, because with the EV, the more you depress the brake, the more power you're going to get back to your battery. Whereas the hybrid, when you're doing the longer distance drives, it sort of eliminates that range anxiety, because your engine acts as a generator and charges your battery for you while you drive. So if you are, whereas the full EV side of things for the Atto 3, best case scenario you're going to get is 480 kilometres. Then where you go the hybrid, you're getting about 1,000 to 1,100 kilometres of combined range of petrol and EV.
And then obviously I can fill the petrol up any time.
Absolutely.
And the battery I can fill with trickle charge
Correct.
at night.
And they'll give you a full charge overnight with a trickle charger.
So those particular petrol engines then, they do need the normal servicing and all those
Correct.
kind of things. You guys supply that as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
But that's not for $185.
No, so that one is $1,600 over a 5-year period. So it ends up being around about $300.
That's still pretty good for a servicing. I sometimes walk away with $1,000.
Yeah. BYD globally makes no money from servicing.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not like you sell the car cheap and then make all the extra money on servicing.
Correct.
I know some Europeans sell the car cheap and make the big bucks on the parts.
Exactly.
You guys make the big bucks on the parts?
No. So with the full EVs, everything in the vehicle except the tyres, the glass and the SIM card is made by BYD. And then the same for the hybrid, except the engines we outsource as well.
So therefore you have a control on the cost.
Correct.
What is the most sexy kind of feature that is in the car where people go, oh, that's nice to have?
360-degree camera, rotation of the tablet, the rhythmic music with the lights.
What do you mean the rhythmic music with the lights?
So the lights will beat to the sound of the song.
What, when you drive around?
Yeah.
That's very confusing at night. If you do punk rock.
Absolutely.
It kind of goes, the headlights, the high beam will go on every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, you can have that.
Yeah, more so for the interior LED lights.
Right. So it's kind of, you can have a groovy moment in your car, is it?
And then just that instant power to wheel is the main feature that people get.
What, the kind of where your face kind of gets pulled back?
Correct.
BYDs do that too? I thought it was only Teslas.
The performance will, if you're not driving, or when I don't drive it, I feel sick in the passenger seat because it's that rapid acceleration. And then with all other vehicles, just EV, instant paddle wheel, you're automatically going to get that instant torque.
Mm. How's the gearbox? Do I have to shift gears?
No. So you will have, for the Dolphin, you'll have a little toggle. And for the Seal, C-Line and Atto, you have just a little makeshift gear stick, which you just put into place and it just folds back into the neutral position.
Right. So, and what do you got? You got forward, backwards?
Reverse, neutral, drive, and then park will just be a button by itself.
Do you think they're going to do four-wheel drives one day with EVs?
Potentially. I know with the U8, which is part of the Yang Wang series, it's BYD's Halo brand, the luxury cars. That's four-wheel drive, and that's if you look up on YouTube, that's a pretty awesome car. Hopefully, come to Australia within the next 2 to 3 years. And then with the C-Line, it's only all-wheel drive.
And any plans for convertibles one day?
Not too sure.
But you see, my age, that's the only way I can track chicks. So seriously, I need a convertible. But it would be sexy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the designs are really nice. But nothing in the line yet.
Not that
Can
I'm
you
aware
take
of.
that back to head office as an idea?
BYD China, let's sort out Markus. Get him a convertible.
What about second-hand electric vehicles and BYDs? Do you do trade-ins and then you sell them again, or what would happen there?
Usually the people that are trading in and upgrading to a new model will just have the vehicle that they trade in. We'll use that as a test drive car. If it's still in good condition and there's not much work needed to it, we will sell it or give it to a second-hand car salesman. But mainly the ones that are being traded in, we are sort of just using them as test drive cars.
But you get people who've had a BYD 2 or 3 years ago and flip it already?
A lot of people upgrading. At Sutherland, when I was working there, we were buying 2021, 2022 models of the Atto for around about 41,900 to 43,900, and brand new, the car at that time was 53,700. So now they have dropped back down to just over 50,000. So, for a secondhand car, 2 years old, you pretty much lost 20% of the car within 2 years, which is, very good. As soon as it drives out of the dealership, 20% gone.
So you were actually given a good value for that car still?
Very good value.
Okay. And then the second-hand ones, any problem shifting those?
No. So at BYD Haberfield, we will have a second-hand car lot. So we are we are encouraging people, if you want to trade in a car, we will give you a good price because we are trying to build up our stock. Whereas at the moment, or at other stores, usually they'll just get the car handed off to someone else.
Right. But do you see one day there'll be like specially second-hand car dealer shops that just specialize in EVs?
Be huge future to come if that were to happen. I think it's tough to say because you do have these preconceived ideas of BYDs, or not so much BYDs, of EVs being secondhand. And if they're selling a secondhand car that's an EV, there must be a major issue with it. And to anyone that is buying a secondhand EV privately or publicly, bringing it to Haberfield, we can check how much the battery's degraded, if there are any major issues, so they can have that peace of mind as well.
Sometimes cars do need a software upgrade and all that. Can that be done remotely, or do I have to bring it in?
So over the air, and it's over the air updates, and then if there is, because the updates do get done in batches according to the VIN number. So if your VIN's in line, but your VIN's still hasn't received the update, but there is one present, when you come in for the service, you'll automatically get that most recent update as well.
Okay. Now I hear there's a whole avalanche of other Chinese brands coming to Australia because I think you guys are doing really well. How are you going to handle all that extra competition?
It'll be interesting. It'll be very good for the EV market and for the consumers as well to have a option instead of just Polestar, Tesla, BYD. But I think it's tough to say. I think that with BYD, it's all about our battery and the longevity of the battery. But then you see these slick cars that are coming out of China. It'll be very interesting to see for the market.
Why do you think the Europeans are still struggling to really get into that EV market in big numbers? Is it because the cars are really rather expensive? I think the Porsche is over 300Ks.
Yeah.
Or is it they have their sales guys are still pushing the petrol more and therefore it doesn't get really to the forefront? What's your opinion?
It's tough to say because a lot of these companies besides Tesla and BYD, they're automotive companies that are trying to branch into the EV game, whereas Tesla's just pure EV. BYD is a battery company that's moved to the automotive industry. And then you see obviously a lot of the EVs are fixed rates. So the salesmen that are selling them at other companies like, European vehicles, etc., obviously they want to sell the petrol car because they can negotiate on that price. They can get more money for it, whereas a lot of EVs, as I said, just fixed rates. So they're going to be capped on what they can make on that. That's essentially my 2 cents on the topic. I'll fuck that up again.
No, you haven't actually. That's a good 2 cents. But is this kind of illegal to say that, or are you worried with what you've just said or not?
A little bit. No, not really.
If that's how it is, it's how it is, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
but are the EVs with the other brands fixed price too? A lot of times.
A lot of the time, yeah.
Is that because they just have no margin left in them, or?
Yeah. So they just want to break even with BYDs. The margin on the vehicle's nothing special. It's not tens of thousands. It's very. That's why it's a huge volume based company. That's why we're all about our deliveries, getting the vehicles out as fast as we can. But you will see compared with other combustion vehicles or your European companies. Of course, they want to go with their petrol car because they can get more margin on that. They can negotiate on that price. Whereas, you come to BYD, a lot of people are upset that they can't get a discount, but it guarantees resale value. And if you go from BYD Alexandria to BYD Haberfield, that you're getting the same price. And, there's not some scumbag salesman trying to rip you off.
Right. But, I would actually argue that if I now walk in and even some Korean cars, 60,000, 80,000 is a pretty standard price now, And I get a whole EV with that big battery in it for that price point. And as I said, for the next 10 years, there's potentially, if I play it smart, $25,000 in driving costs that I'm now avoiding, if I really think it through. EVs have come very affordable.
Exactly.
So anyway.
Yeah, I struggle to see with people's objections on the vehicle. Obviously, working for the company, I see it more than anyone, but a lot of people just don't want to change. And then in the long run, the money, people say, should I get hybrid, should I get EV? Do you want to save money, or do you want to have a vehicle that's going to cost you more but can go a longer distance? And that's really what it comes down to.
And maybe in the transition phase, hybrids are the right thing for a lot of people, because it's kind of like put your foot in a little bit and not jump all the way.
Correct.
And so you're seeing a growth in the hybrid numbers at the moment?
That's it. That's our number one seller so far.
Right, at this point in time.
Correct.
And is that only since the objections have come through the media and all that, where people give an EV a bit of a smack? Or has it always been that hybrid was the most popular?
Yeah, hybrid's always been the most popular, just because you either have the full EV fanatics or you have the V8 rev heads, and then it's just sort of bridging that gap for them. So they're not, like you said, they're just dipping their toe in that way, but they're also keeping their foot planted in the petrol scene.
Do some people walk in and they don't really know if they want an EV or hybrid, and then you explain the advantage, disadvantage, and they make up their mind?
All the time.
And percentage-wise, what ends up with EV, what ends up with hybrid?
I'd say over the past 2 months, I'd probably say it's a 50-50 split between the hybrid and EV. And that's, Seal, Atto, Dolphin versus just the C line. So
right.
it's our number one seller right now.
Okay. So there's 3 brands in the EV versus 1 in the hybrid,
Correct.
but the hybrid sells about as much as the other 3 together.
Correct.
Wow, that's a good result for that. How long you had that one?
We've had it for just about 3 months now.
So it's a brand new model too, is it? What's the nice thing about it?
Interior, very spacious, massive cabin space, and then just panoramic sunroof, and then just all your nice features on your tablet, smooth, clean interior, and heated and ventilated seats. Ventilated seats for a big guy like myself is crucial.
What about cigarette lighter?
Cigarette lighter, still
it does have it?
Yeah,
oh my God, I was trying to show you because, Jesus.
So you actually need that because all EVs won't come with a spare tyre. So you actually use that old school cigarette lighter for your tyre pump, for your puncture repair kit.
Right. Is that where you put the foam in it and then you pump it again, or?
Yeah, it's a liquid. You connect that to the pump, and then you connect the output to the 12-volt battery, turn it on, and then once it oxidizes, it does seal the puncture.
Right. Except if it's really ripped badly, and
if it's damaged the wheel wall, then you're gonna need to get it replaced
and probably get a tow.
Correct.
So that way,
1 year complimentary free roadside assistance with all BYD purchases.
Oh,
plus you pay a one-off fee of $249. That will cover you for the next 5 years after. So about $1 a week.
Oh, roadside. Who is that with? NRA or
National Roadside Assistance?
Okay, good. So you do actually throw quite a few little lollies at it, don't you?
Absolutely.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. How much for 5 years?
$249.
Because I think the NRMA normally for 1 year is $140 or something like that.
$1 a week.
Wow. Okay. So they make it actually rather easy for you to sell the BYD in Haberfield, isn't it?
Exactly.
So you don't have to be very good.
That's saying something, isn't it?
If you can sell it, possibly I could have a go.
Absolutely.
Let me try. It's a really nice looking car. It's spacious in the interior. Even a big bastard like this guy would fit into it. I give you 5-year roadside assistance for $1 a day. $1 a week. It doesn't come with a spare tire, but we have a method that even if the tire has a hole, that you can actually fix that. Unfortunately, I can't give you a discount on the car because we have fixed pricing, but we've reduced the pricing recently so much that is actually already making it a bargain. How am I going?
Very good so far. Do you need a job? How's the podcast business going?
No, so look, I'm generally looking at an EV. And I'm considering you guys, I'm considering quite a few other brands at the moment. And the one reason why I'm doing it is I've got a huge solar system. I'm exporting all this electricity for very little money. And I'm thinking, well, instead of paying every time with my Merc, I'm doing $140 just to fill the damn thing up if it's empty. And I'm thinking, if I could save that money, that'd be nice. And for that reason, but do you you know, I got a good idea. You should just find a way to let people have the car like for a week to just experience it. I think that would sell it.
Absolutely.
But you don't let me to drive it off the yard and keep it for a bit?
No. So, yeah, test drives do range from about 15 to 30 minutes.
Couple of times? Keep
Couple
on
of times.
Keep on coming in, do another round, see ya. No, but that's it. But wouldn't that be a good idea to kind of have a, like, you know, I sling you $300. I'm allowed to keep the car for a week. I try it out. Either I fall in love with it or I don't. If I don't, you got the reasons that are the objections. You can work on those, and then that will help the sales process. I think I've just given you guys a good idea. I mean, just take one or two cars and just do that arrangement with them. Because seriously, for me to go in it with all the uncertainty, if I could have it for a week and just try it, I think that would make me feel more comfortable.
I think so too.
I mean, I know you were joking a lot about stuff, but I really genuinely believe
absolutely.
the kind of, you know, like you go in a supermarket and they give you a little bit of chocolate and you try it and you go, oh, that's a really nice one, or the cheese or what. I think I really just believe that some people, when they're on that thinking about it, love to do it, da-da-da. But anyway, just an idea.
There's also another company called buymeanev.com. He's a guy who brings in a lot of customers, has a small fee, and he takes you to all different EV companies.
Oh, right.
Tesla, Polestar. We see him all the time at Haberfield bringing in clients. And he's, you know, very knowledgeable. He also gives people, you know, a great introduction to all vehicles just so they can make the right decision. Pros and cons for every vehicle. But we probably see him around about 2 to 3 times a week at Haberfield.
So he's like the grannies that go for a shopping trip in the bus, and he takes all people around to the different places to check out the EVs, is it?
Exactly. Buymeanev.com. Shout out to BuyMeAnEV.
Right. Well, why are you laughing? That's a good idea.
It is a great idea.
But how does he find the customers?
Just through his website.
Right.
Yeah.
So he helps them in the buying process.
Correct.
And depending on what the customer is and this and that, yeah. Polestar, well, we possibly shouldn't talk about positions so much and all that, but the car looks really nice, but somehow the numbers are not really. Is it the price? Is this, or maybe we shouldn't talk about it, or what?
Yeah, talk about it off camera.
Right.
Like they are nice. I just think paying that amount of money for something that's a little bit obsolete. That just might be my bias of being a.
That's a bit of a strong word, obsolete. They're still driving.
They're still driving.
What, are you saying you got more modern technology in the BYDs now?
And just it's all battery technology, safer battery technology.
Right. There's lithium iron phosphate and lithium iron something. What's the difference there, and which one do you use?
So BYD uses lithium iron phosphate.
Right.
Now
that's the one that doesn't burn easy, isn't it?
Correct. So nickel, cobalt, manganese batteries burn quite easily.
Right. And
all the ones that you see with EV fires, they'll be 9 times out of 10 the case. With nickel, cobalt, manganese batteries, they have high intake of power, high output of power. So that's why they're very reactive. Whereas lithium iron phosphate or the blade battery, very low temperature battery. That's why the 80 kilowatt battery can only take in 150 kilowatts of charge. And then, that's why our vehicles, our best performing vehicle, which is the BYD Seal Performance, 0 to 103.8 seconds. Whereas you see Tesla's vehicles, they can do like 3.1. They've got a new one coming out which can do even better. So it's more so.
So it's kind of that get out of there. But interesting enough, the Tesla Powerwall 3 is now also using lithium iron phosphate. So it is obviously seen in the industry as maybe the
safer option.
Or maybe even the technology of the future.
Correct.
And BYD Haberfield has it.
All BYDs have it.
All right.
Shout out to BYD Haberfield.
The typical customer that walks in and buys an EV, what are they like nowadays? Are they wealthy, or are they students looking for a bargain, or?
No, it's really tough to say. When I was working at Sutherland, it was more so people looking just for a second car for the family. Now you see at Haberfield, it's more so people looking, with the C line coming in, looking for that getaway car. Then more so Dolphins for the inner city driving. But it's normally around about the common folk that are coming in, the middle class. You may get every now and then the wealthier people coming in looking at the performance range vehicles. But it's really a mixture. It's good to see that there's, from the low end to the high end of the spectrum, a lot of people coming in.
From an income stream, what about ethnic variety? Do you got...
Huge, very, very wide ethnic diversity.
So there's not like every German wants the performance car or so? You don't have that happening?
Not just yet.
All right, right.
We did have one guy come in though.
Yeah? Tell me.
He sucked me into this.
That was me. Hugo got him to turn up. But seriously, do you kind of, when maybe some younger people come in, you think, oh, that's more of a Dolphin person likely? Or
Yeah, definitely. You do see more so when the younger people coming in with their parents, really safe, reliable first car. It's more so people going for the Dolphin dynamic, even sometimes the Seal dynamic, just because people in their Ps can't use anything above the Atto 3 extended. So Seal Premium's off the cards, Seal Performance off the cards. So really the Dolphin or like the Seal dynamic they're going for.
Right. Now, talking about safety, what's your safety star rating on these cars?
5-star NCAP safety rating.
For all of them?
C-Line's yet to get its NCAP rating. They'll probably be coming within the next month or two.
But all the others are 5-star?
All 5-star.
Right. Okay. So basically the purchaser is a whole wide range of people.
Correct.
You can't pick them. You've got 4 models in the range. Let's say if somebody comes in, checks it out, but at the end doesn't buy, kind of slips through the net. What's usually the kind of reason?
Timing, comparing other models. A lot of people, stick with what they know and they think, I've had a Tesla before. I won't commit just yet to a new car. I'll stick with Tesla. But just sort of all your objections that you will get in any sort of sales. I'm not ready. It's not for me. I've got to wait for my, my novated lease to come through. All that type of stuff. Just it's tough it's because every day is different. Every day is a new objection. Every day is a new customer with different issues. So it all really depends on the customer and the day.
So you've got to be just flexible and be assisting them with whatever questions they've got.
Any objection they have, you've got to try and overcome it in some way, shape or form.
And if they say, look, I walk in, I want it straight away. There's blokes who make fast decisions. They go, they check the car, they've done their research, and they're out of there within 15 minutes. Has that happened? That somebody just says, that's the one I want, you got the right colour, I'm going for it.
It happened a lot in December last year when the government incentives were finishing.
Right.
A lot of people just come and go, yep, I want the $1,000 deposit. I don't want it till next year though. So, as I said, it all depends on day to day, but we do get a lot of customers that just have already done their research. They just want the test drive to put the nail in the coffin and they're good to go.
Right. I think not the nail in the battery, huh?
Still safe.
Now, talk about the environment for a minute. We all say we should go EV because long-term, all that petrol we're burning is really bad for the environment, okay? Now, then they argue that there is a lot of energy in building the battery in the first place. But is the petrol that you're saving versus the input for the battery, is that actually still going to get you environmentally positive? Have you guys kind of learned about that with the car dealership?
Yes and no. It's more so the research that we do on our own. Obviously, being in sales, they're just trying to get the product out as quick as they can. Now, you're going to be saving money on the petrol that you're not burning, and obviously it's not going to be very good for the atmosphere. But then you look into the side of how they're, getting these lithium batteries, how they're creating it. It's all depending on, you got to do your own research on it, really.
Well, the bit of research I did is that the battery input energy that you need will put you initially behind the petrol engine, but then within a very few number of years, the petrol that you're not burning is actually a benefit. But there is one proviso. You do now have to move the electricity that we generate into a clean energy field, because if it's still coal-powered electricity, then you're kind of still on that same cycle. Yeah. So it's not just the EV, but it's the whole infrastructure around it that we have to change in order to improve the CO2 output. Is that what?
Exactly.
Right, okay. Now, do you sell to people the fact, or do people ever mention solar as a potential source to drive the electricity for the car? Does that come up as an issue?
Not so much an issue, more comes as like a bonus to the sale. So people will say, I'll just say, how would you be charging the vehicle if you are looking to purchase? Oh, we have solar panels. Great. There you go. There's your free driving for probably the rest of your life or for the next 25 years.
Well, I have to give a little proviso. It is if the solar system is big enough. Some people still have a really tiny solar system and then expect it to charge the car. That's not the case. You do have to have a decent sized solar system to have enough spare electricity. Now, the charger that you guys recommend, is that the one where then basically when the solar power gets generated, that it'll automatically know that that's now spare and I can send that into the car?
Correct. So Ocular, I think it's Ocular IQ, Solar IQ, you get everything just controlled through your app.
Right. So you can kind of say, okay, every time I'm exporting, I don't want to export for 5 cents. I'm here on the weekend. The car is plugged in. Please whack it into my car.
Correct.
Okay. Can somebody put a fast charger into a house, into your own house?
Theoretically, you can, but it will cost you a lot of money.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I'm really rich and I got 3-phase power and I got a lot of supply, I could actually do it?
Correct.
Right. But most people go more for the 7 kilowatt one, is it?
It's just roundabout with the brand that we suggest. It's around about 1,200 for a 7 kilowatt charger and then about another 1,000 for installation.
Right, right. And you guys had an offer for a while where it was included, was it?
Correct.
But that's gone.
Correct. Yeah, that did end last month.
Oh, damn.
Never know what's around the corner.
Oh, okay. Good no. So look, guys, I mean, I'm here with BYD Haberfield James, and he's given me a lot of good info about BYDs and the cars themselves, etc. Big question. Are you driving a car yourself that is a BYD?
I'm driving the C-Line Premium.
Right, you do. And what did you used to have before?
Before I was working at BYD, I was driving, my first car was a 1999 Mitsubishi Magna, which was my nan's car, passed my mother when she passed away, then my brother, sister, and my first car, and that was like driving around an old tank. Then my next car after that was a Mazda 2, and then I was driving my parents' car for a little bit in between there, which was a Subaru XV.
Right. But basically, you're happy with the car now?
I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Any buts?
Not really. Cars have never really, even though I sell cars, have never really been like the be all and end all for me. Just really getting me from A to B. But I've had no issues while I've had these cars, and I find them very easy to sell because I actually back the product.
So how do you charge yours?
At the moment, I just charge it at work, which is good. But then when I was living at home, now I moved out of home, I was just charging my 240 volt at home.
Right, okay. And do you get stopped or so and people say, oh, is this an electric car or so? Do people still have that curiosity?
You do get the looks of the vehicle just because they are, quite slick and, they have a very nice chassis. And you just get the people, turning their heads as you drive past, which is nice. Mm. But then when you speak to them, say, I don't actually own the car. It's just the work car.
Mate, you could show off.
Especially with the Seal. People are very attracted to the Seal at the moment still. Mm. And that's really the reason why we did get the upper hand on Tesla for the past few quarters in sales.
Right, because basically it's a good-looking car.
Slick car, great range, great performance, and at a very affordable price.
Which is what?
So for the base model, it's currently priced at $52,000.
Right. For
the long range, which is the premium, it's just under $60,000. It has dropped a couple thousand recently. Mm. And then the performance does float around the $70,000 mark.
Right. Is that just because there's stronger batteries in it or what?
Yes. So the premium model, the mid-range, which gives you 650 kilometers, that's an 80 kilowatt battery, genuine leather, a little bit of an upgraded suspension from the base model. And then you have the performance with the multi-link suspension, double wishbone, and all the sort of heated steering wheel and just that sort of that real jerky power.
But you've gone slower a bit now in the sales, isn't it? It's gone slow. Australia was like this, slow. Oh, we're taking off. But it's plateaued a little bit now.
Yeah.
Any expectations of where we're going to go forward?
It has plateaued a little bit, especially I'd say probably from December last year, just because you do see, there's no government incentives. But then you also see, all the FTP benefits of people purchasing through a business, novated leases as well. It's tough to pinpoint. It might just be, the the market in general, no one's really looking.
I mean,
at
we are in a
cars.
cost of living crisis and a bit of a recession.
Absolutely, not a bit of a recession, a big one coming up.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's tough to pinpoint, but at Haberfield we are still doing strong numbers, even though we are just recently opened. We're doing quite well at the moment and tracking for a very good month this month.
So if you want a friendly car sales guy who doesn't give you crap and give you some free mats for the car and all the other things that you ring me and I tell you how to negotiate with him, give James a call. Free coffee?
Free coffee.
Good.
And no bullshit.
And your home phone number.
Exactly.
For all the girls who like guys with slick back hair. You engaged?
I am engaged.
Oh, sorry, we'll have to cut that. See you guys.
Cut that out.
Well, that was very nice, James. I really appreciate you coming, giving me really lots of good ideas about this whole thing.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you're not in trouble. We'll cut out all the swearing and bullshit out. This one we actually have to do a bit of editing.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's probably only 2 minutes long by the time we cut everything out you shouldn't have said.
Oh, as I said, I'm not very PR trained.
No, you're okay. I mean, you're definitely a raw diamond. I just don't know how to turn you into a ring.
That's what my rugby coaches used to say.
All right.
Please support the channel by liking the video, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, and check out all our other videos. Want more energy answered? Visit yourenergyanswers.com for quality energy products, tools and calculators, and find your quality local installers. You're still here? I'll see you next time. Bye.